The following is a work of fiction. The intent is to promote and publicize a work of American fiction. Similarities to real people, places, or events are entirely coincidental.
Hello again, viewers. Welcome back to the Shrimp Trawler channel on behalf of Conscious Publishing. This is Paul Flum reads his novel, Henri Edson XIMENEZ. And today it's chapter 12 called Jackson Square, which is in New Orleans. And I have a very special spot picked out as best as I could. I mean, you can't recreate New Orleans, but I'm in wonderful St. John's. St. John's Bridge is up there somewhere. I don't know if you can really see it as I'm in the selfie mode, but I'll get some other shots of it. We got a lot to talk about today, though, because, we had spent the last 3 chapters in the year 2004 in Baltimore, in the Mount Vernon apartment. We were rooting around on the desk. We found a bookmark from some creepy guy named Mortal Arthur. We found the notebook that has that typewritten information in it, as well as, from the trips he took and so forth. A little bit from the 2003 year, I believe, as well, was in there. We also saw newspaper clippings about this Ilsa Navas person and this MSN Messenger chat with some Wonder Girl. There's a lot going on, but suddenly at the end of that, we were dropped back to 1997. That means last time we were here, we had gotten a motel room just outside of Memphis. So what happened? You tell me, folks, what happened? I don't know. We're about to find out when I start the reading, though. At least I hope we find out. Okay, folks, here we are, and it's Jackson Square, Chapter 12. November 12, 1997, 1:47 p.m., in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana. Well, you have to bear with me a little bit here. Imagine fortune tellers and that sort of stuff nearby. Yeah. The area known as Jackson Square. It is your birthday. It is a balmy and partly cloudy day. Vaguely recall being in Memphis? Did you stick around long enough for the Link Ray show? I guess not, because here we are. Maybe you assumed Link will play here in a few days. He won't. Perhaps you simply fell asleep in that Arkansas motel room and forgot all about it. Anyway, one of the goals of this trip was achieved when departing Baltimore on Monday morning. That is to make it to New Orleans in time for your birthday, to have your tarot read. There is, of course, plenty to see and do here in the Big Easy. There are countless street performers, scads of musicians playing various brass wind instruments, percussionists, string fellows with their conductors, horse-drawn carriages, balloons, the smell of fried dough, Dennis Hopper leaving a brothel. Oh, okay. Got a little carried away at the end there. Stick with me, though. You've inspected the camcorder to find out that the red LED battery is dead. You need to find a place to recharge your batteries. There are plenty of people having their cards read. Let's wait a little bit for the line to go down. To the north are the many bars of Bourbon Street, then Louis Armstrong Park, beyond there a cemetery. On to historic Bourbon Street, I suppose. Matter of fact, let's head to Bourbon Street. And historic Bourbon Street, here we are. On to historic Bourbon Street, I suppose. There's plenty of drinking on tap. The blues on Bourbon Street will have to do, at the first bar you spot. So stroll in feeling a bit thirsty, a tad parched. Since it is the afternoon, not as crowded. I guess all the tourists are outside soaking up the nice weather. That certainly seems to be that way. No bartender currently up, so you scout out the tables. A small table by the window will work. It has a red and white checkered tablecloth covering it. Drop your gear here, wait and hope that the bartender gets back soon. Alas, the mustache and apron approaches. What will it be? Something simple. We'll need a favor from him in a bit. How about a bud? We have bud. Want to start a tab? Sure, nothing I like better than drinking and driving. No expression. I'll just settle up, thanks. You have a bud. Curb the sarcasm next time. Now glance under the table. There is an AC outlet. The tablecloth hung low, which is why you didn't see it initially. The camcorder is plugged into the AC outlet, and the battery is recharging. You'll have to leave the camcorder on the floor near the outlet if you wish to walk about. I guess you could leave it here to recharge. But let's check with the bartender first. What will it be this time? Skip the banter, go straight to the camcorder question. Hey, would it be okay if I left my camcorder under that table? Look, I'm not responsible for other people's valuables. I hear you. Look, kid, why don't you just give it to me? It can recharge here behind the bar. Oh, great, thanks. See, asking for permission is easier than forgiveness. Not going to turn that maxim around? Never mind. Exit and target the southwest end of Jackson Square. There are several tables of gypsies, fortune tellers, malachite rock hounds. There's even a gentleman who can take just one look at your shoes and bet you $5 that he knows where you got them. And of course, tarot card readers. So yes, you missed Link Ray, but this chick can read your cards. Priorities. Go ahead. Don't knock over the crystal ball. She will say you will move away from home sometime in the next 6 months. It'll be 100 miles from home. Wow, nice, she is good. But I'm better, don't you think? The ingratitude to be unappreciated in one's own lifetime. I'm helping, man. Next. Feeling uneasy about the reading? There is still plenty to do. Think. The camcorder battery is probably charged by now. It's getting late in the afternoon. The mission is still that soundtrack, then time's a-wasting. You'll want to do more sightseeing. Let's get back to the blues on Bourbon. The chatty bartender is gone. Now there's an old wrinkled bartender with an eye patch. The eye socket. It would scream like a banshee when the trade winds blew. Or overheard something like that. He appears now as a cantankerous old cuss. A wacky old nutbag, as it were. What would it be this wonderful afternoon, young man? Hello, is the other bartender here? What other bartender? Maybe you can help. I left my camcorder here. Is it behind the bar? Let me check. Thanks. He's checking. Okay, let's see. Do you remember riding in a horse-drawn carriage? You didn't. Do you remember beignets and black coffee at Café du Monde? You didn't. Just killing time. He's still checking. Checking. Ah, here he comes now. Is this it? That be the one, thanks. He hands you the camcorder, check the green indicator light, and see it is fully charged. Let's get down to Louis Armstrong Park. There's a wonderful garden there. It's just 4 blocks or so from Bourbon Street at Rampart Street. It has bridges covered with vines and streams throughout. That sounds like fun. Let's go to Louis Armstrong Park now. Onward. Okay, folks, back for part 3 here. Louis Armstrong Park. Well, it's close. It's a park at St. John's. That's the wildlife tree, if you're wondering. We've got some mushrooms growing here. see what happens. Where were we? 4 blocks or so from Bourbon Street at Rampart Street. It has bridges covered with vines and streams throughout. This park made of grassy knolls and lagoons. It is named after the New Orleans native, even though he was not allowed to play here in the now well-known clubs during his career. Maybe you could find some kind of nature to capture with moving pictures. Various types of ground covering type plants. Pachysandra, with a whole kaleidoscope of colors. A great photo opportunity, perhaps. Embellish this shot by blurring the image. Bring up the color highlights while changing the contrast. Sync up the Walkman to the camcorder. Saturate and solarize, posterize, and record the lovely flower, fauna, and foliage. Maybe you should check out the cemetery some other time. Somewhere in this park is supposed to be a statue of the great Louis Armstrong. As you jaywalk across Rampart Street, a young woman driving a 1967 Mercury Cougar with Washington State vanity tags WNDR-GRL, Wonder Girl, almost runs you off the road. Now on the ground, in the middle of the street, a little dinged up and shaken. Take an inventory to see that all body parts are working fine. Dazed, stand up and look around. A small ticket stub and a folded up piece of loose leaf paper are lying on the ground. Perhaps they fell out of your shirt pocket. Here's what the loose leaf note says. Hey, I'm writing this because I didn't want to wake you. My train stop is 3:15 a.m. in Pocatello, Idaho. So my dad already left the Snake River and is meeting me. We're going whitewater rafting tomorrow. Anyway, you asked me for a list of things to do when you get back to Chicago next Saturday. I would say go to Medusa's. It is always big on the weekends. It has a lot of cool rooms in it. You might get lost. Well, have a great time at Lollapalooza. Wish I was going with you. It was great meeting you, and I hope we can stay in touch. Love, Heidi. And now a closer look at that red ticket stub. Amtrak, train 0387, Empire Builder, leaves Seattle. August 29th, 1991, 8:05 a.m. Arrive Chicago. August 31st, 1991, 2:13 p.m. This is your baggage claim number, Q3Z1241. Did you know 1991 was also red? And the Minnesota Twins won the World Series. Yes, you should by now. Okay, folks. How could that have just fallen out of his pocket if it's 1997? Those were, well, we're beyond contemplating these shifts, but it looks like we'll be going back to the red area next time we get together. Once again, I want to thank Conscious Publishing and the Shrimp Trawler channel. It's a wonderful opportunity to read these on YouTube. There's a link to Amazon. Go pick up a copy. We'd appreciate it. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next time. Now, back to Bourbon Street for another bud.